tonight because we need to start really thinking about how we're going to coordinate turn-in and assembly. It's going to be a little bit different than in years past. If any of you have helped in years past, Jake, I know you were down in the Freedom Bunker with us last time around. There are a few others too who might be on the call tonight. The reason it'll be a little bit different is because we don't have a 50,000 signature stack to assemble and sort through and validate. So that's nice. So we probably won't have one central location. That said, the weekend before assembly, which would be
next weekend.
Yeah, the 18th and 19th. I will plan on hosting at my house if anybody wants, if there are any candidates who want to take advantage of that. I've got a 4-bedroom house and I live here by myself with my dog. So if anybody needs to stay the night, they can do that too.
And I'm back. Somehow I got bumped off, but now I'm back.
That's all right, Bill. We just started, so no worries. But if candidates want to host their own assembly and validation parties, they're welcome to do that. If chapters who are, coordinating for county candidates and things like that, Donnie, I'm sure you guys already have a plan for Peoria County. But I think that's the appropriate way to go. We will make a video showing the validation process. So it's fairly simple for people. The biggest thing that I'm going to focus on, is that you're allowed to fix anything on a petition even after it's been signed, except for the signature. So you can touch any of those other boxes. So if someone may have abbreviated their city name, or something was not quite legible on the address, you can write over the box, and that'll give you less of a chance that will get challenged.
Steve, I have a question about that.
Go ahead, Bill.
And that is, for instance, in the 6th Congressional District, people from Glen Ellen write GE. There are all sorts of abbreviations. What about that stuff?
Yes, you and or a group of volunteers who are helping with your validation should go through and, instead of GE, write in Glen Ellen where it says GE. This is a problem in the burbs every year. We get people who put LITH for Lake in the Hills and all sorts of different abbreviations.
Okay.
And you should go ahead and fill those in for sure. So.
Okay. Now you also brought up, sorry to interrupt, you also brought up validation. What do you mean by that? Because I just realized there was a problem today. And that is, for instance, I'm petitioning, and Brian Lambrick and Preston are helping me petition. I am trying to become challenge-proof in the 6th Congressional District.
Yes.
There is no district data in the, what's the database? I'm sorry, the load, I forget the name of it, Starlight database. And I just found that out today. So with that database, my signatures can't be properly validated. And I would think anybody else for any other district office ditto.
You can validate everything except for whether or not they live in the district. So you can validate that the address is correct. You can validate, that they are registered to vote. But unfortunately, as far as right now is concerned, there is no field for congressional district on the.
I would like to weigh in on this, please.
Go ahead, Lex. Yeah.
When you are validating, you are looking for an individual, and the list that comes up includes their state ID for the voter registration purposes. That is a link. So some of you may not have noticed, because you get down to that name and you stop. If you click on that link, it brings up the complete record of that person as it's known to the State Board of Elections, minus, of course, the signature. and that includes every district a voter lives in. So if you go down the list, unfortunately, it's an extra step. You have to not just see the name on a list of names, you have to actually find that name, click on the link, then scroll down on that page until you see federal congressional district, and it will tell you which one it is. It's just going to take a little bit longer to validate.
Just one more click. All right, thank you,
Okay,
Lex.
thank you.
Lex, would that also include, not that I anticipate serious validation going on for any like county board districts, but would that be on there too?
Yeah, every district known to the state board
Every
of elections
political
is
subdivision.
listed.
Okay.
And Bill, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, but I have given that information to David Johns, so he is aware and is already hard at it.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing that candidates will want to do during the assembly and validation process is make copies of all of your petitions. And you have to turn in the originals, but you should hold on to copies, because should you get challenged, you're going to want to have a copy of everything that was turned in right away, so you can go through. So if you don't have a scanner or something like, or something that will allow you to take copies, you can always take a picture of each page. That's not the most ideal situation for storage and organization. Or you can take it to, a Kinko's, a FedEx facility or something like that to make copies of everything.
Okay.
But remember, you're not turning in the copies. You are turning in the originals. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Good.
have a question. Well, anyway, go right ahead. I do want to cover paperwork, what paperwork needs to be filed for president and for U.S. Senate and for other candidates. So I want to cover paperwork, and of course, then there is some sort of assembly process, which I'm totally ignorant of.
Sure. So paperwork for everything except for president and senate will be the exact same as it always is. And Jake, do you have a list of all that, the statement of candidacy and the
let me look it up real quick.
it's in the packet from the State Board of Elections. Now for Senate and President and Vice President, obviously, it sounds like we're still figuring that out, Lex, but if I'm reading the judge's order correctly, literally all we need to do is just give them a list of who's running for those races. They don't even need a statement of candidacy.
At this point, there's no mention of whether that's needed or not.
It probably would be a good idea to do anyway, though.
I would recommend, and I'm looking at my list of things that we normally put in there. There are two documents that I would recommend you get, and if you knew anybody that was somehow involved with Joe and Spike's campaigns, maybe he could help us.
Yeah.
But and this would go for Danny as well. The statement of candidacy always goes with every petition, even for lower offices.
Right.
So I would recommend that Joe, Spike, and Danny all have a statement of candidacy, optional loyalty oath. I do not believe, I'd have to review on Senate, but I do not believe that Joe, matter of fact, I know Joe and Spike do not need a statement of economic interest. And then there is another sheet that I would include in the filing, which is the list of officers who can make substitutions. I think that that's a very important inclusion, which is P-3B.
And we need a list of electors.
Normally that goes on the petition, and that was in the information that Bob Johnston should have gotten to you guys. But reviewing the email, it doesn't look like he gave a specific format. I would think it would want to be on party letterhead, signed, possibly notarized, signed by Steve and Stephen Russ, or at least two officers of the executive board. And but Bill, you could copy the electors directly off the petition that we had prepared, and then just make an introductory statement. These are the electors for blah, blah, blah.
And you
Okay,
said
so
that-
just a letter. There's not a form for that, Lex.
Not unless, Bill, unless Bob gave you a specific form, I think just on letterhead would be the way to go.
I'll double check with Bob Johnson.
There's a form in the new party packet that's on the State Board of Elections website. It's page 14 of the new party packet.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. We can take a look at that too. All right.
If I can clarify for a moment, I know Alexa said he wasn't for certain on the statement of economic interest. Since President and U.S. Senate are both federal offices, neither Jorgensen nor Danny will have to file that.
All right. Thank you, Jake. Lex, do we need separate statements of candidacy for POTUS and vice president?
Yes, they would both have to turn in their own statements of candidacy. They could be notarized in the state in which they signed them, obviously, but I would use the I think it's P1D statement of candidacy, the same as whatever Danny used. In the past, I have always approached presidential candidates at the national convention, but that obviously isn't going to happen this year. So
Well,
again, we can scour this group and see if anybody has any connection with the Joe and Spike campaigns, and maybe that person could help us get those statements.
We do. There are also a handful of people from Illinois in Orlando. So if I can get John Phillips the statement of candidacy paperwork, he could find Spike and Joe this weekend and have them fill that out. I'm sure there's plenty of notaries flying around at the convention. So I'll reach out to John Phillips and see if he'll do that for us. Okay. Anything else on assembly? Jake, did you find the full list from the packet of things that candidates need?
Yeah, let me upload that file, and it'll be in the group chat in a moment.
Thank you, Jake. Okay, I'm gonna finish what I wanted to talk about tonight, because again, McLean County's meeting is tonight, and I want to get over to that. It started 15 minutes ago, so. The only other thing I wanted to talk about as far as what I'm coordinating is turn-in day. I assume that we will probably have a few candidates who will want to turn in at the Chicago office of the State Board of Elections, and that's totally fine. I may reach out to LP Chicago and see if they want to coordinate their own press conference at the State Board of Elections office in Chicago, but we're planning our regular one in Springfield. The office is all open at 9 o'clock, but I have to work that morning, unfortunately, and I get off the air at 9. So we're going to go ahead and plan for turn-in in Springfield at 11 a.m. at the State Board of Elections office in Springfield. And then at 12:30, we'll plan to, and we'll do pictures and all that type of stuff. We'll invite press to the turn-in. It won't be quite the photo op that it usually is, because we won't have a 6-foot-tall stack of papers, but still a nice opportunity for the press to come out and snag some pictures of us and talk to us one-on-one. We will plan a press conference after that. We will want to get to the Capitol building around 12:30 for the press conference to prepare the room. The Blue Room is downstairs in the State Capitol building. If you've ever watched a press conference from the State Capitol, it was probably in the Blue Room. The reason we'll want to come a little bit early is to get the room prepared specifically for to put up our backdrop and everything. So we'll want to make sure that we have that ready to go. This is all contingent on if they will let us use the Blue Room due to COVID. So If not, we will plan to do a press conference outdoors, probably in front, either in front of the Capitol building. So I'll have to verify that we have access to that, but we'll see where we're at on that. So then at 1 o'clock, we'll have a press conference at the Blue Room in the Capitol building. I will facilitate the press conference. I'll make a few very, very short remarks, less than 1 minute as state chair. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. Spike Cohen will be joining us, so that's exciting. Hey! Spike Cohen will be joining us, so we'll give Spike some time to speak. Danny will have some time to speak as well. Bill, if you're with us, you are at least at this point looking like you'll probably be our only House candidate who will be turning in petitions. So I'll give you some time to speak too. And then if we have any legislative candidates, state Senate or state rep, then we'll give them a little bit of time to speak, certainly less than the others. I was thinking 5 minutes or less for the major candidates, and then 1 minute or less for the legislative candidates. And of course, that's because we want to have a lot of time for questions and answers afterwards. So that is the plan. After the press conference, we can probably all go to lunch or something in Springfield, nearby the Capitol. There's a few good places out there, and have a little camaraderie as well and celebrate the hard work that we've done. So that's the plan for turn-in day. In the next week, I'll be trying to figure out which candidates we'll have going to the event in Springfield, and which ones will either want to turn in separately on their own, or specifically probably those who will want to turn in at the Chicago office. So Lex, you've been part of the presidential turn-in process before. Am I missing anything here?
I just wanted to say, I looked at Danny's email that had the packet. Kelly referred to page 14, which is the certificate of officers that can make changes, but also the data entry card is listed. I think every candidate should have a data entry card as well to turn in. Again, trying to make sure that everything that we would normally turn in is in the thing in the packet, except for the signatures. Other than that, no. Good luck to you guys. I think you've got everything under control. Looks good.
Well, at least we have Lex's confidence, so that's good. Lex, thanks for joining us. I appreciate your insight. I know that you've been part of this process multiple times before as a candidate and as a chair. So.
Yep, this is Bill. I still feel ignorant about the petition assembly process. I've not been through this. I don't know what to do.
Bill, the petition assembly process has been a big deal only because we had 4,000 pages of signatures to assemble,
okay,
and put page numbers with and so on. But since those signature pages are not there, the only thing left to do is to just assemble the statement of candidacy, optional loyalty oath, the list of officers who make substitutions, and the data entry card not bound with it, but turned in with it. And then the list of electors. There is no particular order for that because, again, this is outside the law, but I would recommend you do the statement of candidacy, then of Joe and Spike, and then your list of electors behind that.
But I have petitions to turn in for U.S. House.
Okay, basically yours is the same thing, except for you include the copies of all your signature petitions, and each of them, starting with the first petition page with signatures, is number 1, and then you number each of them sequentially until you get to the last one. So you put your statement of candidacy first, your optional loyalty oath, then you put your first petition page, number 1, your subsequent petition pages, and that's it. You should bind them in some way. Two holes punched at the top with a couple brass posts, or what, because you're not going to have a very thick one. And we always put a plastic cover over the top and the bottom just to make it look good. But I've seen some messy stuff turned in, so anything you can do to make it look nice, and then, you know, with a cover on it and bound together. Again, the data entry card, not bound, but turned in with it. You'll be just fine. That's all there is to it. And I believe you might be in touch with Brutus, the beefcake, Lambrick. He's got some experience putting those things together as well.
Okay, all right. As long as somebody, I don't want to make a fatal faux pas here.
Yeah. Bill,
yeah.
Bill, how many SIGs are you shooting for again? 3,000?
The high twos at least.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if we're going to hit 3,000 gross, but certainly approaching that.
Now I know LP Chicago's trying to get a bunch too, so they may have, you know, a real heavy industrial 2-hole puncher and the little brass or silver posts instead of just the, you know, the really thin, flimsy ones. So I can get you some of that stuff. I can drive up there and hand it off to you if I need to, or maybe LP Chicago would be willing to share their resources if they.
I just want to make sure I don't make an error with the petitions.
Sure.
Yep. And you've got my phone number too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, can I ask a couple of quick questions? This is Donnie. So I guess I wanted to know is what do you guys think of where we should place the electronic signatures? And should we number them? And what do you guys think on that?
Well, each electronic signature is going to be its own page. So actually, some of you guys might have pretty thick packets that you're turning in because that's the way that they'll be delivered from Craig. So yeah, I would start with anything that you've done handwritten at the front and then do the rest as pages in the back. But I don't think it really matters too much. You know, anybody who wants to challenge you on the basis of having digital signatures is gonna go through the whole packet anyway. So I don't think it matters too much where you put them, but I would put them at the end. You know, maybe you'll get a few people who are like, you know, there's no digital ones in here, and they might not challenge. But I do expect almost everybody who turns in a significant portion of digital signatures to get challenged, but I think that we will survive that challenge. So
now, but Steve, do we number those? Is that
yeah, there'll be additional pages, so each one's going to be a new page. So okay. each you know, say you have, you know, 10 pages of paper signatures, and so that'll be the first 10 pages, and then each digital signature will be its own page 11, page 12, so on and so forth.
Okay, and then so on that note, when we're talking about these petitions, what do we do with what's the proper way to handle pages that are not full on the wet signatures?
Do not cross out the blank boxes, just leave them blank. And that's all you got to do.
Okay. And then what if someone lined through something on a petition?
As long as that person made the mark and not you, you're totally good. You don't have to do the, you know, list of substitutions or whatever.
Okay. So go ahead.
No, go ahead, Donnie.
No, I guess I was just asking. So if we've got a petition where someone started writing something and then they lined through their info and then skipped to the next line and did it, is that going to be okay, or will that invalidate a whole sheet, or how's that going to work?
No, that's okay as long as you can defend it as the person who was writing made that mark and not you.
Okay. I mean, how would they prove that, right? I mean,
right.
Even if we did, but I didn't, so it's
right. So.
And last thing, this was a question when I was getting notarization, and I'll leave you guys alone. Below the signatures on the petition, it says state of blank, SS, county of blank. What do we put in that?
That's for the notary, correct, Lex?
Yes, so that would be state of Illinois since you're notarizing in Illinois, and then the county in which it's being notarized. So even if you're in Champaign County, if you're having it notarized in Chicago, it goes in Cook County, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so let's just to be clear, if this was a Tazewell County petition and I got it notarized in Peoria County, I would put in that box state of Illinois, county of Peoria.
Yes. Technically, the notary should do it, but very often the notaries don't, then you would just fill it in.
Okay.
Thanks, Lex.
That's all I have. Thanks, guys.
This is Brian. Can I chime in with a couple things really quick?
Go ahead, bud.
I was under the impression that we didn't have to get things notarized. I don't think it hurts to do it, but is that going to matter? Shouldn't we have other people get things notarized just in case, or should we not do that? Because I've been filling out the bottoms of petitions just with my information, but I'm assuming it's not getting notarized. Is that going to matter from district to district?
No, technically the only parties that had to get stuff notarized were McLean and Kankakee because they're established parties. Everybody else does not need to have their paperwork notarized. However, if you would like to do it anyway, we have not been telling people to ignore it. So,
okay, another question. There's a few candidates around the state that are just they're nervous and hazy about putting their paperwork together, and I don't blame them. This kind of law is crap. Lex knows how many times I've called him over the years for stupid things. Ian Peak is going to turn something in for state. There's a few other people up here in the north. Is there somebody in the political division that will kind of do outreach with them to help them make sure they have the proper paperwork and it's signed and ready? Like, is somebody from the PD going to work with these guys individually leading up to the turn-in?
I will probably get with Les and anyone else that's willing in the division, get a little powwow going, and then offer the guidance that these candidates need to be able to complete their process.
Okay, I've been
is that clear enough? Is that clear enough for you?
No, but it's Jake enough for me. I've been helping people answer questions.
Send him to Jake, Brian.
I will do that. I will do that, and thank you. That's all I wanted to know, because there's just questions that are like Lex territory where I can't answer it. So
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So I do have something out of curiosity. Okay, so in my case, I have one of the lowest thresholds, and I'm running for county board. I intend to file my whatever signatures. My minimum is 8. I'm aiming for about 40 at this point. I'm probably going to be looking at 4 pages. I've got a bunch of these that I need to get rid of. Is it fine to put the petition in these and, put it in a binder and file with the clerk, or are there rules against that?
I've never seen a county level candidate do that. Lex, what would you advise Jake on this?
I'm sorry.
Lex, you're muted. Yeah, there you go.
I was answering somebody else privately on the chat. What was the question? Now you're muted.
Now we can't hear you, Jake.
Oh, sorry. So I'm running for county board in Montgomery County. Because of the lawsuit, I only need 8 signatures. I'm aiming for up to 5 times that, which would be 40. That would essentially be 4 pages. I have a bunch of these. Is it okay if I put the petitions in these and put them in a binder and file it with the county clerk, or are there specific rules against that?
There's no specific rules against that. Normally you would bind them with the 2 holes at the top because the petition shows 2 little spots, but there's nothing in the law that says you can't bind them on the side like you're planning on doing. So
yeah, because it's essentially going in the sleeve and going into the binder when as soon as.
Oh, that is like an envelope?
Yeah, a little plastic sleeve like you put the protector. It's a sheet protector essentially.
Yeah. I would recommend not, because when you turn it in, they have to do timestamps. Things have to be folded over as they examine. So it needs to be something that they don't have to remove. It's kind of like when you're stopped and they want your license, they say, take it out of your wallet. Well, let's get it out, the petitions out of the wallet, and so they can easily thumb through it. And does that make sense?
Okay, so primarily, okay, let me just go through a potential hypothetical if I can find a binder. One moment.
All right, guys, I gotta get going to the McLean meeting. thank you everybody for coming. I will send out information about that press conference, and I will be coordinating the press conference because Amanda's mom's in town. So, and I did the one in 2018, so I kind of know the ropes already. Thanks everybody. I'll see everybody later, and we'll try and coordinate some assembly events in different places, and candidates can do their own thing too. All right, thanks everybody.
Hey Lex, can I ask you real quick? When we go to file for county candidates, if Damon and I file for them if we have everything?
Yes.
Okay, so with the statement of economic interest, do we just have a receipt? Do we just bring the receipt that they have?
That is correct. And before, it was also possible to produce the statement of economic interest later if there's an emergency and you can't get those in time. But I recommend we not push the envelope but no, they do not have to be present, but I would recommend that they have all their paperwork done in advance and given to you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right.
This is Kevin. I had a
Sorry.
quick follow-up of it. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm back to continue my question. So essentially, I've got a small binder. Can I just put the petition in one of the pockets and then they could just take it out? That'd be fine? Okay. All right. Thank you, Lex.
Kevin?
Yeah, this is Kevin. I was curious if the county chapter chairs are going to have some kind of instructions for how they need to turn in for their local candidates. I mean, we got people like Adam Balling in Chicago. Not sure if he's aware how all this works, but if we have something that we're sending out to them. Or...
I'd appreciate the help. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, because you just started a couple months ago, so there's probably other people that are new.
Yep.
Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page for this turn-in.
I mean, the process is the same for everybody except for where you turn them in, and just make sure you've got that pack. In case anybody didn't notice, Jake posted the packet with all of the forms in it. Actually, more forms than we need, but it's in the Zoom chat. So if you don't have it, go to the Zoom chat, scroll up to the top, and download that PDF. It's got the data entry card. You can fill that out, print it out. The statement of candidacy, fill that out, print it out. I never did a loyalty oath. You're welcome to do that if you want.
I don't see it. I'm looking at the Zoom group chat and I don't see any file.
Can you scroll up a little higher? I'm
scrolling up as high as I can go.
Can you put it up again, Jake?
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I'm on mobile though, but yeah,
There
I don't
it is.
see any files.
New party packet. All right, there we go. Library.
Okay, all of you go ahead and download that if you haven't already got the forms. And again, the loyalty oath is optional. You don't start numbering any pages until you get to the first page with signatures. It's number 1 and then it goes sequentially after that. There is the certificate of deletions, and we decided a long time ago. We actually did do this in 2012 for the presidential. We ended up turning in like 12 or 15 pages of deletions. And we said never again. The idea there is if somebody wants to challenge, make them look for the challenge. So we don't cross anything out, ever. I don't care how stupid it is. If somebody puts Mickey Mouse, make your opponents find it and do that. So.
A question from Bill. How do we get the online signatures printed off?
They should have arrived to you. Now, there's probably people who know this better than me, but they should have arrived to you in either an email or a link, and you can download those. Now you have to, go ahead.
So I worked out with Craig. I would reach out to Craig, and basically what he's doing is sending me a zip file every couple of days with all of the petitions that come through. They all come down. It's not easy, but then you just pull them and then you just print them all. So that's what I've been doing, and then I validate them on the spot. So get with Craig. He can send you a zip file with them all, and then you print them for filing.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Well, I guess that's it.
You guys are great.
All right, guys. Thanks for all the hard work. Jake,
Right.
you got anything else?
Nothing I can think of other than
All right.
keep petitioning those that are still petitioning, and hope
I
to
got
see you
a
guys-
couple questions.
Yep,
I
go ahead, Brian.
I promise I'll keep this quick. First of all, I see Les Defner. Les, can you check with David Rich and see where he wants to turn his petitions in, whether he wants to make the drive down to Springfield or go to Chicago?
All right. Should petition signature still be sent in even if he doesn't make number?
If he doesn't make number, here's the thing. This is important, and Bill Redpath and I were talking about this. For the people running for U.S. Congress, even if you don't make the minimum number, if you have at least 10% of that minimum number, that means you have to force some Republican lawyer to challenge you to throw you off the ballot. Make them do the work. If people already collected several hundred signatures and they've got the minimum, I think they should at least turn it in and turn in that work. And I know David's been working at it. I don't know how much, but I know he has been. Second question, Donnie, while I've got you on the phone here, are you definitely going to pull off a meet and greet in Peoria the night of the 20th?
Brian, I haven't had a chance to really look at it yet, but I plan to.
Okay.
So.
There's no rush for it. The convention weekend's a giant mess. But if you're going to do that, I was thinking between 4 and 8 p.m. just so that Spike and them can get back home. I can't keep them out too late. Something to keep in mind, Spike has MS. So because of his MS, he has very strict dietary restrictions, and he's got to take it somewhat easy. And he's also practicing social distancing to a certain degree. So I'm trying to keep an eye on him about that. But between 4 and 8 p.m. At night, and you already know the morning hours I gave you for booking media. But I'm just going to leave it up to you. Just keep me in the loop, because then Amanda and Chase, they're going to have a division meeting where they're going to talk about how to promote your thing and the thing in Springfield, and then Julie Fox, the Fox Valley ones, are going to have some on Wednesday. He's here for 4 days: Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Brian,
So,
I definitely want to do the evening thing. I'll look for media, but I'm going to be running around with my hair on fire, and my hair's already red. So
I know.
So that morning, that Monday morning, I can't really babysit him if he wants to. I mean, I can try, but I'm going to be going to both counties and then running out to Springfield too.
No.
So.
I can play manager for the 4 days while he's in town. I'm doing that. I just need to know if you can just set the dates up and just give me the information. I'll run with it. But
Okay.
you know the contacts. You know the area. I can manage. I can be the handler if that works. I know you like to put on the sports coat and show up with us, but I mean, you've got your own shit starting to deal with.
Yeah, no sports coat for me, man. I'm bumming it, man. This is too much work. So.
That was me in 2018. Look at that. I'm rubbing off on me.
I know, it's crazy.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, just whatever booking you can do. Otherwise, I can maybe do some morning radio in Bloomington as well. But I mean, dude, you have Peoria down. I'd like to use Peoria if we can. I'll talk to you later about it at night. Nathan Flory, you're on the call. How are you doing on signatures? Do you need any help? John Phillips said he can get you some help from Macon if you needed to get those couple dozen signatures.
No, I think I'm fine.
So you're okay?
Yeah, but should be good.
Okay, I just wanted to check in on you. And last question.
Thank you.
Everybody that's going to be in Springfield on the 20th for the press conference, I need people on this call to remind me who may or may not be there. Obviously, we're going to have Spike Cohen, Vice President, Danny Maloff, U.S. Senate. I think, Danny, you're on the call. And then we're going to have, Bill Redpath will be there, U.S. Congress. And below that, I've got state reps. I've got Josh Flynn, Ian Peake. I see Ken Allison. Paul Durr is not going to be there. Russ, you said, have you talked to your guy in Champaign yet? I know we just talked about this.
Yeah, I'm driving him out.
Okay. Does anybody know of any other state rep candidates that should be standing there. Steve C said each one will get about a minute to introduce themselves, and then they can answer questions if they get fielded. Does anybody work with Sasha Cohen up north? I don't know any other state reps that are collecting signatures that are going to have enough to meet the minimum. Anybody know any?
Maybe Chad Grimm.
Maybe. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Anybody else know anyone? Is Ken Allison the only one in Peoria?
Ken is the only announced candidate in Peoria.
Okay. I know you guys had a bunch of county ones. I couldn't remember anybody else. Okay, if nobody's chiming in, then I'm just going to stick with these names right now. I'll ask people again in a week, but once Amanda gets the press releases going out and Chase starts pushing it, I don't want to forget somebody. So that's why I'm asking.
Brian, plan on. I think Chad's going to run, but right now the signatures aren't reflecting that. So we'll see.
Sure. I'm not going to count on it, but if he has signatures and stuff and he wants to be part of it, we'll put him in there.
Okay.
So
just as a potential heads up, Brian, because he's been trying to get his within 2 weeks. Scott Schluter might.
Yes. No, you're right. I just talked to them. I wanted to go down there and help them. I can't. Ian Peak is putting together people for that. I'm glad you said Scott. The whole reason he's running is because I made a petition for it, sent them to him, and then gave him shit for a month. And then he went out the other day and collected 85 in a day. So yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot about Scott Schluter. He's gonna. I got him on the list. Okay, thank you. If nobody else has any other state reps they can think of, then I'm good.
I just know that the one that won't be able to make it because he's going to mail his in advance, Joseph Schreiner, because Justin Tucker's collecting his petition signature. So Schreiner will not be there, unfortunately.
Is he going to turn some in? Is he going to turn it into the Chicago location?
From what Chicago was saying, it's got to be mailed to Springfield.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I believe you. It's Illinois, so.
But it's what we understood to be the case. I know he was also trying not, I think, disease exposure. He's an older gentleman. He's limiting his risk. Glenn Olafson, I know, was looking for a ride down to Springfield. Although he is also not a young man, he is not afraid, but I think he doesn't have his own car. He's been going door to door out in the northwest suburbs for his state rep, Mitchell. God bless them. So if anyone from the city of Chicago, I'll put the feelers out to, who is making the trip downstate, I would want them to pool together on that. Joshua Flynn, were you going to go down to Springfield? Or is he off the call now?
Yes, I am.
He's still on the call.
Yes, I am going down.
You going down? All right. I don't know if you.
I talked to him the other day, and it sounded, Josh, like he was going to be there. By the way, Adam, it's good to see you, man. I haven't seen you or talked to you in a while.
Good to see you too, mate. Hey, Danny, you're going down to Springfield too, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Danny will be in Springfield that day.
Well, man with purpose.
If Brian's going to be there, I'm going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right now, the nuts and bolts of Cook County, we didn't even think of any sort of media event. We're just trying to get signatures, and that's been tough. But still pushing. We've got some more people volunteering. One came up with QR codes that we can print out and put up around as well. I don't know if any of you have wanted that with the digital signature drive to put the link into a QR code and then distribute those. I saw another small party, much smaller party than ours, was doing that with their presidential ticket. And then someone in our local meeting last night suggested this and made a QR code flyer for our state's attorney and clerk of the circuit court ticket, which, this is not my forte, but I guess there are ways to do this. Free websites even that allow this. I don't know if any of you have gone down this path with the QR codes.
Yeah, I think Donnie had one. We've done that here in Champaign. So
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if you got much return on it, but at this point, we're sort of throwing every strategy at the wall.
Yep. It's spaghetti time, guys.
Guys, hey, I just wanted to throw out that we've been very successful with the countywide petitions on electronic. So I organically share that everywhere. Email it, send it to inbox to people. I'm telling you, man, if you start shaking it out, you can get 100, especially in Cook County, you guys could have 100, 150 before you even know it. So.
Thanks, Donnie. Yeah, we're adding that to the quiver. Right now, the paid team has been all newly slow. And most of the candidates were recruited last minute. So this is still going to be a brutal push.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think the electronic petitions will be your best bet. I think every single person in the Libertarian Party of Chicago should be able to send that out to 20, 30 people and get that. So maybe, can you do me a favor, Adam, and get a hold of Chase and have Chase do a post on the Libertarian Party of Illinois saying, if you live in Cook County, call to action. We need you to sign the Cook County petition.
Can you send me Chase's contact info in the chat or email it to me? I don't know if I have that offhand, but sure.
Yeah, I think best bet may be on Messenger. Are you friends with him? If not, I'll get you in contact.
I can send you. Do you want me to send you his phone number? Chase really wants to help people out, but a lot of people don't give him his information, and if he doesn't see it, he's overwhelmed. So if you reach out to him directly, he'll make sure he gets it. I can get you his phone number right now, Adam, if you want.
Yeah, please. That'd be great, Brian.
I'm texting it to you now.
And then what we can do, I really think that there's an order that you do this. You get that post on Libertarian Party of Illinois, and then you move that post. You post that in Lincoln Lobby. Lincoln Lobby is a huge place to get a lot of views, and there's a lot of people from Chicago in Lincoln Lobby. So if you don't do it, I will. So get the post done on Libertarian Party of Illinois, and then I'll start sharing it to all the groups, Libertarians of Illinois, everywhere that we can post it. We need to get it in there because Chicago, we should be able to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, and if I have his number,
I just texted you a number right now, Adam. Let me know that you got it.
Got it. Thank you.
Sure thing.
Much appreciated.
By the way, with regards to Lincoln Lobby, I don't go in there. I don't shit talk stuff online, and I avoided it, but I know libertarians are really, John Matthew was a master at it. I heard they started censoring things, so they weren't letting people post stuff.
They do, but you need to post it as if it's about ballot access in Illinois.
Okay.
And so if you word it properly, it'll get through. And I think there's two moderators. One's Libertarian and the other one isn't. So one will reject it and the other one will push it.
I sent a link. I sent a link.
Oh, the QR code?
Yep. I'm actually, I went to, well, hold on, I'll send another link. I sent that link, right? I went there, and then I followed that link to go to like Bill Redpath's right here. And the link that's direct to Bill Redpath's, right, the swiftcloud.ai, that is what I put as the QR code. And so I'm creating QR codes for, for the 3 congressional districts that are in my county for Lake County. And then I'm going to generate those, and then I'm going to throw them up on the Libertarian Party Lake County Facebook page. So maybe it'll get some traction. So while we can.
Yeah, we have found that the people seem to be more likely to sort of scroll past LPIL candidates as a generic thing.
Right.
But if something targeted like this guy is running for state's attorney or something like that, that is more likely to grab the eye, relatively. Well, that's at least one of our tools. Bill Redpath, you're here on the call. So if you're the one, if we've collected the money together through Illinois to get the sheets from Don Wren's team, you're the one who's in charge of the ballot access fund on the contract. Would you be paying him electronically while one of us gets the sheets from him? I want to make sure we don't let that slip by either.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that I'd have to ask. I mean, I'm okay with. I want to see an invoice, and I want some acknowledgement that we got the SIG. But I can't. I don't have the means to pay him. That would be Russ Clark's the treasurer, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Clark, you're the man to go to for this.
Yes,
I think so.
All right. I wanted, in a previous Zoom where I think neither of you guys might have been on, I was advised to put Mr. Redpath as the manager rather than Mr. Clark. I wasn't quite sure which would be better, but I'm sure he'll accept a designated authority, since the contract is with the party itself, not any one of us really individually.
Yeah.
So,
I'm the guy that cuts the checks. So.
Okay. Yeah, I get a total from this guy each night, and he's hired. Like I said, they're almost all newbies, so they're generally slow. They might not be getting through even the money we already raised that quickly because they don't seem to be that fast. And if that means there's any room left over to hire, someone who knows what they're doing, who can go out there a couple days in a row, get 50 a day or something like that, that's part of what I want to know. But I also want to, for the work that they've done, 700 or so that they've done, I'd like to get them set up. So Russ, if you and I could figure that out, I can get the sheet.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I do want to tell you, Adam, that we want newbies. And the reason that is because a lot of the experienced paid petitioners already work for the Republicans and Democrats. They cannot gather for us by state law. So newbies are okay.
That's part of what this gentleman's contracting firm, the position they were in. They're earlier in the spring. They're more veteran folks had already done it for local judges.
Yep.
So that's part of why they were fresh faces.
That's fine, and that's because we don't want to get it tossed. We don't want to get a bunch of signatures tossed because of some technicality like that.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I need is the, so is he going to send you an invoice or some kind of bill for how many signatures?
I'm sure we can figure that out. I asked him like, all right, you've already been doing this for a few days. Do you want to get something ready? He's like, I can wait a little bit. I'm like,
if he wants to wait until July 20th, that's fine. It really doesn't matter right now because we are in Q3 of reporting period. So whether we pay him in July or August, it really doesn't matter to the party from a reporting standpoint. So, so I wouldn't, if he's not worried about it right now, don't worry about it right now. Worry about getting signatures because we don't.
Well, I want to be able to, do some. Bennett Morris was going to help do validation to see if the stuff he was collecting was useful.
Yeah, and only pay for valid signatures. If they're not valid, if it's Mickey Mouse, don't pay $3 for Mickey Mouse.
Right. So I just wanted to figure out some of the nuts and bolts on that because he's been at that for week and a half, almost 2 weeks or week and a half.
Without the validation step, I would tell you that there's nothing to invoice because the signatures have to be valid in order to get paid.
All right.
I can tell you that I'm hiring two paid petitioners here in Champaign. I'll be going through the training with them tomorrow as to, okay, here's what happens when you get the signatures. And here are the two databases that I'm going to look it up in, because I have Champaign County specific, and then I have our statewide. I'm going to look them up in both databases. Make sure that they agree. If they're not in one, then they should be in the other. Should be in both. And then once we have a valid signature, okay, there's $3 right there that I owe you for. If it's not valid, okay, because they're in a drug rehab program, I'm probably going to wind up paying them something, but it's not going to be $3. So we'll do some charity giving too, just so that Carol has to dig through a bunch of signatures. But yeah, it's without that validation step, I wouldn't consider it something that we should pay for yet.
Okay, so I will, drive out there, meet him somewhere, or him drive and meet me, get a box full of signatures.
Because if he's got a lot of sheets, you and Bennett could be there for a while. So
if he has a lot,
if he has a lot of signatures, you want to pick someplace comfortable to do validation, because you're going to be typing in a lot of names and looking at stuff.
Yeah, so, and I wanted us to at least get a start on some of that before we're down to like the last 2 days, because we wanted it done by the 18th, so we at least go through the remainder. But I wanted to get through a first chunk of them, and I know that the Orlando Zoom adventure this weekend is going to be interesting too.
I would recommend going through them, depending on how many he's got. If let's say that he's got 10 people, you'll probably want to go through that validation step every other day. So that way, one, you know what signatures are solid and what your true count is, versus and then you know what you're paying him for. You kind of, okay, I've got 200 valid signatures, $3 a signature, that's $600. Okay. And then you keep going from there. If you wait until the 19th, you're going to want to, like, your beard will be gone. You'll be pulling it out.
Yeah. I wanted him days ago. I got conflicting advice on this from several. Bennett said that once a week was more common for turn-ins, that anything more than once a week seemed kind of like you'd be hounding them, or like you didn't trust them. I'm still figuring this out. He was like, hey, why do you even need it once a week? I'm like, well, I don't want to be waiting till the last minute either. So
yeah.
Still
it depends on how many signatures they're getting.
Hey, Adam.
Yes.
I sent a link to the for the premium.whitepages.com. I used to work for a company that we had to validate any kind of a purchase that people made by credit card. It was a 10-person company I was in. But with premium white pages for like $20, you can have like, I think, like unlimited searches in a month, and you can you could type in their address, their name, and you can kind of use that as a way of validating if they've ever lived at that address. So just something to consider.
Yeah. The only issue with using that, Les, is the only address that counts is the address they are registered with at the county clerk's office.
Right. True.
So
and the way we get that's publicly available?
No, that's through the through Lex's brother's website, the Starlight software. I'll post it in the channel here.
That we have to log into, or okay.
Yeah.
I know Bennett had done. I'm not.
Let me post it in the channel here.
Adam is freezing up.
Thank you for all.
So the link that I posted is our database for the statewide voter roll. So,
which should be up to date because I believe Craig, or I guess he's already had. Have we already ordered the second update for the year?
I haven't received it. No, I sent them the check.
Okay, you did send them the check, but it hasn't come in yet.
Yeah, I haven't received it.
So
Okay.
that starlightsoftware.com /voters / that's, chapter chairs, we can use that link to validate our signatures.
Yes.
Okay. I would suggest that maybe Jake send that email out to those of us, interested parties, and
I will send an email out to all active party chairs that are on the website as soon as this meeting is over. And then I will, depending on the size of this video, I may attach it, but it's probably something I'm probably gonna have to upload to Facebook or YouTube or something like that, and then just send them a link to that video.
Guys, don't wait too long. This shit is fucking tedious.
It is.
So I'm sitting here doing it as you guys are talking. It is not fun. So.
I'm actually, and because, for Lake County, I've really only got 2 people, me and my vice chair, who are really been done any kind of petitioning, plus our candidate. There's just no way we're going to meet, 1,200, let alone, double that. So, but the QR codes, I'm actually creating QR codes for a select group of folks, and I'll send that email out, or if you ask, send it to me. So I've posted some of them on the chat, in the group chat files.
Are you guys talking about validation?
Yes.
Just to let you guys know, if you guys remember, David Jantz got an award 2 conventions ago. I nominated him for that because every year that guy was validating thousands and thousands of signatures. I've done hundreds of myself over the years, probably thousands over the years, but he would do thousands every cycle. And that's why I nominated that guy for an award. I'm just saying, I want to make sure David gets some props because that guy stepped up and saved our ass a lot in 2016 and 2018. And he's doing it now for like Bill Redpath and Ian Peak. Maybe I shouldn't have said that on this call. But if anybody needs help with validation, fuck. David Jantz is really, really good at it. And he's really fast. And considering how well he was doing it before, this year is a cakewalk for him because he's only doing, a few dozen here and there for Bill and for Ian. He was going to do them for Paul. So if anybody has anything they might need some help with, David Jantz is a guy to ask. And that's why he got that award. I just want everybody to know that guy did some awesome work, and nobody knew about it for many years.
By the way, it's nice to see you're paying tribute to Brutus the Barber Beefcake, one of the greats.
Fuck yes! I was Brett the Hitman Hart on a call for Maine last night, which, by the way, had both Spike and Joe Jorgensen and Spike Cohen on it. And I actually forgot that it said Brett the Hitman Hart, and then I had to excuse myself. Whatever.
All right. I got to drop off. I will, Adam, we can chat later.
Thank you so much, Russ. It's been
very all right.
And I will, be in touch for sure. Thank you kindly.
All right. Thank you.
I'm going to jump off too, guys. But if you guys need anything, I'm trying to navigate this too. We'll fake it till we make it. So just call me if you're thinking about something, because I might have thought of it, and I'll call you guys if I have something. So.
All right. Have a good night, Donnie.
Thank you, Donnie.
Does anybody else have any questions, or are you guys pretty good before I
Jake, these QR codes that I'm generating, would any benefit to me maybe posting them in the members of the Libertarian Party Facebook group page and or the Libertarians of Illinois, which is a little more open? I know that we've got some Democrat and Republican trolls in there, but even so,
the more places you can promote it, the better. Even if you want to promote it to that Conservatives and Libertarians of Illinois one,
Haven't seen that one, but that's okay. I'm in 30 different groups, and not all of them are political. Most of them are.
this is where I regret being a cyber hermit, but I know there's tons of neighborhood groups and, like village Facebook groups or township Facebook groups. I would hit them too.
That's subversive because it's a political post. It's an icon that somebody can scan or they can check out, and then it takes them to a petition. And it doesn't red flag anybody going, hey, what's this about? Unless they actually, scan it.
I mean, I want to get some printed in on the light poles too. I know we have rain the next 2 days, but I want to, after that, I want to see them up.
Adam, can you, what's your email address? Because I can.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat, please.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
And while you're working on that, I guess I just happened to see an email from Kelly Liebman. Said the guide the guide says a receipt from the Secretary of State office for the filing of the statement of economic interest must be filed with the petitions. So that should be said. I think that means we need to be sending our SOEI form to the SOS office ASAP. I think since Lex is off the call, it would be recommended that you go ahead and send that. Obviously, it's not going to apply for any of our federal candidates, so it doesn't apply to you, Bill. It doesn't apply to you, Danny. It won't apply for Joe and Spike either. So essentially, it'll be all of our General Assembly candidates and any race below that. So essentially, actually, I found out in my county, I can just file with the county clerk and they'll send it to Springfield. But General Assembly, you definitely need to send that off as soon as possible to the Secretary of State's office so that you can get your receipt back from the state. But yeah, some counties, if you're running for county office, they will actually send it to Springfield on your behalf as long as you file it with the county office.
I think part of the problem here might have also been that the local offices had not really reopened in Chicago. Maybe they have finally, but they were not through June.
But yeah, I thought I would answer that one since I happened to see the email. If nobody else has any questions, I can probably cancel, stop the recording.
No other questions?
All right.